You're watching Drakewing Gaming. Enjoy the video.
Hey guys and gals, Nary here from Drakewing Gaming. It's something me on Twitter, The Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of Tennessee's Keisuke's Path. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm chain, you are up, and let's go. Alrighty. I dig into my bags, pulling out my phone and my earbuds and quickly scrolling through my song list to try and find something that I wouldn't mind listening to on repeat. I tap on the filters, deciding to filter my songs by most played, and picking the number one song on the list to use. If it's going to be something I listen before every match, I need to make sure it's something I both enjoy and can already listen to a lot without getting sick of it. While I hadn't realized it, I apparently listened to the recording of Keisuke's band a lot in the past month or so. Still, it feels somewhat natural to pick it, so I tap on the play button without thinking of much else. I lean back on my seat, trying to focus solely on the song and forgetting all exterior thoughts. Before long, I can feel my thoughts slowing down a little. Several minutes pass while I listen to it, only looking up occasionally to glance around and see if there's any sign of Keisuke yet. Eventually, I finally spot a white and green silhouette rushing to the court's entrance, barely stopping long enough to catch his breath before coming to a stop near the umpire's chair. I'm very sorry for the delay. I lost track of time and made my way here in a hurry once I got the message. Am I late? There are still 3 minutes before the match starts. I would recommend you prepare yourself. Thank you very much. Did you get lost on the way here or something? Do you have any idea how worried we were? Sorry, I headed to the back courts down the block to clear my mind, but I ended up sitting around and staring at the sky to try and relax. If you just sat around doing nothing, you could have done that from here. Did it at least work? Was your head clearer or something? Yes. Does that mean you can tell me why you've been avoiding me all morning yet? At that, Keisuke pauses, straightening his back and looking down at me. The shift in his expression is all too clear and frankly a little unsettling. I'm sorry. I know it might come out a bit callous on my part, but I merely knew that being around you, especially with how close we are, would make it far too difficult for me to get into the proper headspace. That's why I made the calculated decision to put some distance between us, at least until our match is over. After all, from now until the end of our match, we are supposed to be opponents, rivals, not friends or anything else. Whoa. Damn, you really got serious over something like that? I don't want to say that it sounds stupid, but come on. That's what this is about? I'm afraid so. Please forgive me for my selfishness. The moment is here. I'm breathing deep, focused and calm, ready to give all. Was that a haiku? Yes, my mind does go places when I am trying to concentrate. You should know that. I have scribbled several poems and song lyrics while I was at your place. I get that. It's just, you were going to fuck off into nowhere to write a poem. Couldn't you have at least made it a good one? Probably shouldn't say that part, though, so I'll keep smiling and nodding. Either way, I've been looking forward to this for a while. I hope you'll give me your all, Michimaya-san. Did you just call me by my last name? Yes, well, I did say I needed distance, and I'm sorry. Without belaboring his point any further, Keisuke heads to the bench in silence, settling down his bags and pulling out his equipment, not bothering to shoot so much as a sideways glance at me. Second now, water time. This freaking pink apple and lemon sparkling water is amazing. I can't pretend that it doesn't sting a little, but I suppose I should at least give him this much. I try my best not to take it personally, at least for now. I also need to focus on my own preparation, so I have to put a pin on it regardless. A few minutes later, we go through a brief warm-up period where we hit the ball back and forth to one another before being called to the net for the coin toss. Seems I've won the coin toss. I shall be receiving then. Why am I not surprised? One cannot deny one's own nature. I have no idea what that means, nor do I feel like playing dictionary in my mind right now, so I'll pretend I didn't hear it. The two of us take position behind the baseline, with Keisuke tapping the tip of his foot against the floor a few times and getting on his knees to check his shoelaces. I take a few deep breaths, readying myself for what is to come. It's not as if I'm scared, that's definitely not it. For one, even though I shouldn't be so cocky, I simply haven't ever even contemplated the possibility that I might lose to him. It's horrible to say, especially considering how many times we've practiced together and how much I care for him. Hell, he's my boyfriend. But maybe it's because I played against him so many times that I have a very clear image of how he plays and how good he is. And so instead of worrying about my chances, the only thing I can think of right now is how I hope his feelings won't be hurt by the end. I know I shouldn't think this way. I know he'd be mad at me for it. He'd say I'm not taking him seriously enough if I'm considering his feelings in the middle of a game. And he's made it more than clear in the last few minutes that the inverse isn't true, which I should be happy about, but somehow I'm not. Focus, Yuuichi. Stop bringing your relationship problems to a game. Instead, I shake myself, telling myself to flip into game mode already. The one on this court with me right now is an opponent. Whatever we are outside the court is meant to stay outside. It's just, I don't want to lose someone else because of tennis. If it already hurt that much with Tanabe, I can't imagine how it would feel with Keisuke.
Michimaya-kun, your 25 seconds are almost over. Please keep that in mind.
Right, my bad. Oh god, what am I doing? Get a grip, me! I tighten my grip on the ball, tossing it into the air and deciding to simply blow these intrusive thoughts away with my serve. I launch a fastball with as little spin as possible, aiming at the very edges of the court. The hair quickly dashes at that spot, hitting the ball back as hard as he can down the line. Unlike when we first played against each other in a practice match all those months ago, he neither fails to react to the ball altogether, nor does he send a shallow return that is easy to attack. Perhaps as the quickest possible display of his efforts in training, Keisuke sends the ball deep into the opposite side of my court, forcing me to run for it. From the very beginning of the match, the game is locked into an unbearable high tempo. While I'm used to taking a point within the very first strokes, especially this early in the game, even the very first rally almost lasts for 10 strokes. In the back of my mind, I can tell that something feels off. Not with Keisuke or the match in specific, but with me. I can't seem to get into it. Whether it's the nerves from before or something else that I'm not quite sure about, I'm having trouble flipping my switch. Even then, it's not as if the match is going badly. While I can tell that I'm not performing my best, I'm still managing to steadily build up momentum. On the other hand, even if I'm not exactly playing my best right now, Keisuke's keeping up with me about as well as I expected him to. He's always been the tenacious sort. I'm sure the abundance of information he has on me from all our practice matches can't hurt. That's why I know I can't keep hesitating. Keisuke is a good player in his own right. I might be the better player overall, but it's not unheard of for the better player to lose in an upset. And this kind of mental turmoil I'm dealing with is exactly the kind of thing that breeds upsets.
Game, Michimaya, 4-4.
And yet, while the match progresses about as well as I expect it to, something about it feels fishy. I look to the hair, trying to gauge something from his body language, only to see... Yes! Him fist-bumping in some sort of celebration. What is that about? Why is he celebrating? Maybe he's happy that he's managed to hold an even score until now without having his service broken, but is that really something to be celebrating in the first place? Something about this is sounding alarms in my head, but I can't tell what it is I'm supposed to be wary of. Every instinct of mine is telling me to brace for impact, but it's hard to do so when you can't even see the crash coming. I keep my eyes firmly on the hair, trying to figure out what about him makes me so uneasy. As far as I can tell, everything seems to be normal. Unlike in his match against Yuuichi, Keisuke is bringing all to bear against me from the get-go. I mean, how could he not? We've played each other so many times that I probably know him better than anyone else. I'd be able to tell at a glance if he were holding back like he did with Yuya. Right? What's going on here? I mutter more to myself than anything else as I try to figure out what to do. Since I can't spot anything in specific to watch out for, I instead would like to keep playing while watching Keisuke more carefully than usual. If there's anyone I know that's bound to pull some kind of tricky play out of his ass, it's him. And I'm even more aware of it after I saw him abuse the timeout system yesterday. As usual, while it's tougher to push my own rhythm when Keisuke is serving, my own serve game is a completely different story. The advantage from being the one serving is enough to set my own pace, pushing Keisuke around until I can eventually run him out of the point or brute force a winner. For his part, it's clear that the hair is trying his best to hang on to whatever openings he has, desperately and tenaciously running after each and every ball. Our last few practice matches all came down to him trying to mount a strong defense and attempting to outlast me, preying on my weaker stamina. Granted, it hasn't worked out for him even once so far, but I also didn't have the added urgency of needing to save as much of my energy as possible for the finals right after. If I let myself be goaded into a drawn-out game, I might find myself in a situation where I'll have no chance to do anything against Tanabe after a win. After all, no matter how prepared you are, a competition like this builds up a lot of fatigue over time. Kind of weird how the music is just droning right now. What is happening? What is going on? Wait. What am I thinking about my match with Tanabe here? This is no place to be thinking about that. And my body already felt somewhat heavy, but now it feels like my limbs have grown even heavier. I can't seem to move like I want to.
40-30.
Crap, Keisuke's at a break point now. What was... Keisuke changed tack halfway through that rally. He's been playing defensively this whole time, hitting the ball back and forth as far away from me as possible to keep me running and wearing myself out, but suddenly shifted to aiming the ball at my feet? The sudden unexpected change didn't leave me time to adjust my footwork, and the awkward positioning forced me to hit weaker balls back which he promptly attacked. That's not something I saw during our practice games. What the hell?
Player Michimaya, please get in position to serve.
Right, my bad. Shit, this isn't the time to be breaking down like that, Yuuichi. What the hell is going on with me? Not only am I struggling to get into it, but I keep getting distracted. Nothing I can do now but try to switch back. Come on, Yuuichi, you've never struggled this much to get into gear before. Right away, I see a return of that annoying tactic from the previous point. But not only that, Keisuke is now also throwing in a mix of high topspin shots and deadspin shots to force me to hit the ball back at a different contact point than I'm used to. All these on their own aren't uncommon strategies. I'm used to having people pull those against me since they're well-known methods for dealing with power baseliners like me. But never so many of them at the same time, and never with this kind of consistency. What is going on? Where did you get all these new tactics from? You never once used them against me in training. Are you serious? Shit. After pushing me around for an entire long rally with a sudden focus on topspin shots and constant aiming at the baseline, the hare suddenly shoots a shallow slice near the net that tries to slip out of the court. I run after it, but the ball has just enough power to be unreachable with my delayed reaction, especially as I stumble on my own 2 feet and nearly fall to the floor.
Game, Urushihara, 5-4.
Immediately, I begin to hear a few murmurs from all around us. Even I am stunned. Keisuke broke my serve? Here, in an official match of all places? How? No, hang on a second. That's not what you should be so surprised about. That entire rally, what the hell was that? That he'd be able to think of those kinds of strategies isn't all that surprising since they're so standard, but when did Keisuke ever have the chance to practice them them to this level? You pretty much only play against me nowadays. How would you have been able to practice those? When? Play restarts with Keisuke now serving, and the same strategies from before make a reappearance, along with a liberal use of kick serves and even more shot variation than before. There's no doubt in my mind now that the hare had prepared a lot of the countermeasures against me specifically and kept them hidden for as long as possible so as to strike when I'm most vulnerable. He knew that the shock would destabilize me and give him an opening to exploit, and now I'm being led by the nose by him. Has he been planning this the whole time? There's no way, right? I mean, I know he can be sly, but to intentionally hold back for months during practice matches just so he can surprise me at a competition? You're my boyfriend. Would you seriously go out of your way to lie and deceive me just so you can steal a win? There's no way you'd be that scummy, right? Try as I might to deny reality, the point is driven home all the same as I continue to defend against Keisuke's merciless assault. There's too much finesse for this to be an impromptu decision. You can't fine-tune these strategies this much without serious practice. Seriously, to his own boyfriend? Is this what he meant when he said he was sorry? Can you seriously separate things that neatly? Split apart the lines between boyfriend and opponent so precisely? How are you so good at this? I've been so concerned with how he would feel if he lost, so worried about hurting his feelings. After all, I know how hard he tends to take it. Remember the look on his face when we first played against each other. I remember how angry he was when Murasaki and Sasaki-san first came back to Japan to help us train. Remember how upset he was when he lost to Yuuichi a few months ago. All this time I spent worrying about his feelings, wanting to protect him, encourage him, and take care of him as his boyfriend. I know I shouldn't take it personally, but I still do. I spent all that time worrying about it, but now I doubt the thought crossed his even once.
Game in first set won by Urushihara, 6-4.
Yes! Keisuke pumps his fist, screaming so loudly in celebration as to earn himself a glare from the umpire. Sorry, I got too excited. Even the Keisuke that never before managed to steal a set from me is now loudly celebrating it as if he'd won the whole match. The view repulses me. My overt concern for his feelings instead of simply looking at him as an opponent to beat also repulses me. Something inside my head clicks, or maybe it would be more accurate to say that it breaks. Looking away from him, I walk to the bench, patting myself dry and taking a swig from my bottle. From the corner of my eye, I can tell that Urushihara dallies for a few seconds, stopping for a bit, looking hesitantly at me before proceeding to his bench. What are you even looking at this point in time? I don't care anymore. I put far too much mental energy into clearly the wrong place, and now look where it's led me. More than anything, I need to fix my mistaken thought process before it causes me to stumble once more. I absolutely cannot allow myself to make this kind of mistake again. 1-0. This is the first time he's ever taken a set from me. Not to mention the first time I've ever dropped a set to anyone in this competition other than Takagi. What is this frustration? Alright, y'all, I'm going to pause it right there. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Before I go, I'm going to give a quick shout out to our lovely bronze tier patrons. Thank y'all for all you do for the channel. We greatly appreciate your support. Thank you to our silver tier patron, Cade Silverman. Thank you for going a bit above and beyond. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you to our gold tier patron, Trezum Guy. You're awesome. We love you. Thank you for subbing to our ultimate tier. Anyway, if y'all want to get your names in the credits, get access to all of our not safe for work content as little as $5. Alrighty, I love you all, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!